Good soup, day 40. Chicken tortilla soup. This was a highly requested one. How do I get it nice and creamy? What do the tortillas play in this soup? We're gonna jump into all these questions. Now, how do I cook chicken for chicken tortilla soup? This is a question that gets asked a lot with this certain dish. Do you boil it? Well, a lot of recipes do say to boil it, and that is where I never understood the reason. See, when you boil it, you're just gonna simply cook the chicken. You're not gonna really develop a better flavor when you just throw it in water and boil it. See, we can develop a better flavor when we roast the bird off and we get some color on it. When you get color on things, with anything in cooking, developing more color is developing more layers of flavor. Now, I'm not saying just stick the whole bird in the oven, roast it off and call it good. What I'm saying is develop more flavor with the bones and the parts that matter with this whole process. Should probably pull you guys out of here. If I get a whole bird, by the way, this entire chicken cost me about $9, and that could serve your entire family, a whole bird. So what I'm saying is I could develop more flavor if I get a whole bird, because not only am I gonna get the nice, awesome leg quarters, which have my favorite, the dark meat, but I'm also gonna have the carcass left over from the entire bird. And also this meat right here, I wanna just cook that off separately and then just pull the meat, and I don't want it to overcook the carcass. Now, this is where I can get some nice color and develop a nice, richer broth. All my meat, and then all of my bones for my flavor. We've got wings, we got the back carcass, we've got the leg bone, we got the airliner bone from the breast, we even have the thigh bones right there. All of this, get hella color, get hella flavor. 500 convection. What chiles do I use for my tortilla soup? A chile guajillo. Chile guajillo, it's not too spicy, but it has a nice smokiness to it. Chile guajillo is gonna be a beautiful base, and it is actually the standard go-to for chicken tortilla soup. Chile ancho. It's a lot sweeter. Imagine like a cross between a chile and a date. You get chile ancho. That's what it is to me, at least. It's a lot more sweeter than the guajillo, and this is gonna help balance out that smokiness to the soup. Again, another standard, nothing new here. I haven't even begun to get to the point that I'm gonna get to at some part of this video, but there is a very different thing that I do to the soup that makes it so much better. Anyways, the chiles, you always deseed these guys. I do recommend using gloves at the end of the day. I remember at one of the spots I worked at, Maria, she was just shelling so many of these, and her gloves would turn deep, dark maroon. And I can't imagine doing this barehanded all day. But since it's just a little bit, whatever, it is what it is. Now the chiles, they need to be what we call reconstituted. We can do this in a number of ways. One of the ways I love to do is grilling them off or toasting them on a cast iron skillet. Another way is just pouring boiling water on top of them. Since this is going in a soup, all I have to do is toss it into a pot, and it's gonna get reconstituted in the soup itself. Like I mentioned with the chicken, I want to develop more color so I can get more flavor. So same thing for my garlic and for my onions. I want to get some deep dark color on both of these so I could get a nice flavor with my broth. See the color? I've got some char on it too. Now, do I just fill it with water? You could. Honestly, you could do that. because I've got a really nice color on my chicken. I've got color on everything. It's gonna make a beautiful stock. But in restaurants, we add stock to things like this because it's gonna be even more flavorful, and we have the stock in house. So if you have the stock in house, use it. And I'm just doing this so I can get all the flavor as much as possible from this sheet tray. This one will scrape off all those little yum-yums. Now, what do I cook the soup on? Pressure cooker is what I'm using. You don't need to have a pressure cooker, but this speeds up the process. If you just want to get it done and you're at home, it takes 40 minutes. Fixings. Now, what are the fixings for the chicken tortilla soup? With anything like this, there's always the standard fixings, and you're gonna probably think, oh, I grew up with this one's authentic, or that doesn't go with it, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has their own way. Everyone has their grandma that makes it a certain way and their mom that makes it a certain way. Whatever. These are just the fixings that I know of, that I grew up with. So we've got cilantro for a nice herbaceous flavor and some freshness. We got the creaminess from the avocado, which we just dice up fresh. We get some pop and brightness and acidity with limes over lemons. And funny thing, my family and like everyone back home, they still call this a lemon. They say limon or lemon. It's a lime, but yeah, that's just a little funny note of fucking queso fresco. Queso fresco, of course, some nice crumbly, fresh cheese. If you want to do sour cream or crema. The tortillas, these store-bought tortillas, these give the crunchy note, but also I'm using the tortillas in a way that I don't think anyone really uses them for chicken tortilla soup, and that is, these actually go in the soup. You'll see what I mean right now. Now, why corn tortillas over flour tortillas for this? Well, obviously the first one is authenticity. And look, I'm not gonna be the first one to fucking say like I'm authentic, right? But it's authenticity, that's what I grew up with this, but also it's gonna provide better texture. So the whole reason for putting crispy tortilla chips into the soup is texture. It's just like when I put chips into my sandwich, I want that crunch. If you do this with flour tortillas, that crunch is not gonna hold up. With a flour tortilla, it's not gonna hold that crispy crunchiness when you toss it in the soup. It's just gonna be an immediate soggy fucking mess. But you could do you if you want. Do a flour tortilla, let me know how it is. I've never tried it. I'm sure it'd be good. I would put like Doritos in it. Wait, are Doritos flour tortilla? I don't remember. Either way, corn tortilla, this is the move. Now, why let it go so long? I mean, the pressure cooker speeds up the process, so it's been going for only 45 minutes, but without it, it'd probably be about 2 to 3 hours. The reason for it going so long though, flavor development and then that extra collagen that I'm getting out of the chicken bones and the carcass. It's gonna also add more nutritional value if you happen to give a shit about that, but it's just more flavor. Now, why separate the chicken from the soup? What was the point of that? Well, the reason is, what we're gonna do is take this soup and we're gonna treat it like any other braise of mine, and that is blend the contents of the braise with that beautiful braising liquid that we have here. And here is the main point of my video, and that is that I haven't seen anyone else do this. Just me and like my other cook friends, we would do this at work, and that is add tortillas to the tortilla soup blend. See, that's gonna make it more voluptuous and thicker. It's basically like the Mexican roux, if you think about it. It's masa harina going into the soup. It's gonna be like a nice thickener for our soup. It's gonna give it some more body. Also, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but don't fill your blender up all the way, especially with piping hot soup. That could be pretty dangerous. Just don't be a hero. Do enough. Do small batches. I've mentioned this in a past video, but like I said before, blend the soup longer than you think you have to. It's gonna make it more luxurious, more silky smooth. I'm gonna let this blend for probably about 5 minutes in small batches. The result will be a much silkier end product. Now, let's say you're cooking for other people. I mentioned this in the past video, but if you are cooking for other people, you want to taste your soup, you could put it in another vessel, give it a slurp. Another common thing we do in kitchens, take the little spoonful. This could be really hot, so be mindful. You put a little dab on your hand and then taste it off your hand. Either way works. And of course, if it's for yourself, I mean, I don't even know why I have to be telling you this. From here, I like to add some salt, MSG, all to taste. Now, why don't I just dump the chicken into the pot? I like to control the amount of protein I give to everybody, you know? What if some people want less? What if some want more? And also I can make it look a little nicer.